folks. Welcome to the number 24, or November 3rd edition of WWMS.
Stop. Cut the accent. Take off the wig. It's not Halloween.
No! Welcome to the number 24, or November 3rd edition of WWMS, our weekly Friday flex show here on the Fairfield Woods YouTube channel. And this is our second show of the week, as we knew we needed to add in a Halloween special. But in today's episode, we are going to break down some really cool things, including me and Arav's interview with the First Selectwoman of Fairfield, Miss Brenda Kupchick. But first, let's start off with our joke of the week. What is the world's tallest building? The library, because it has the most stories. We hope you guys got some enjoyment out of that very funny joke. We are very excited for this week's episode, but we're all sad with Halloween now gone and over, but let's still have some fun. A holiday that, along with Halloween, was going on with the October 31st celebrations was National Doorbell Day. I know, obviously the reason why Halloween is such a great day. But in more seriousness, I love this holiday and I feel it's really interesting because there are so many different types of doorbells. The most common one is called the security system doorbot, or now renamed as Ring. I hope everybody had a great National Doorbells Day. But on National Doorbell Day, the NBA rang the doorbell with a monster trade alert on Tuesday morning. James Harden has been traded to the Los Angeles Clippers after months of speculation. The 76ers also sent PJ Tucker to the Clippers, while the Clippers gave away Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nicholas Batum, and a handful of future draft capital. The deal was first reported by ESPN's NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski. Harden is now on his fourth team in 3 seasons, reconnecting with his former teammate Russell Westbrook in Los Angeles. But now let's go to Arav's geopolitical segment about the holiday Dashera, which took place on October 24th.
What's up, dudes? For today's geopolitical segment, I'm going to be talking about Dashera, which has to do with one of Hinduism's most sacred texts, the Ramayana. In this text, the prince of a kingdom called Ayodhya is exiled from the throne by an evil step-relative. His wife and closest brother follow him to an extensive journey throughout the woods. Despite Lord Ram, the prince's immense strength and fighting skills, an extremely evil 10-headed Rakshas, or demon, named Ravan, deceives the wife Sita. After this, Sita is taken to Ravan's pretty crazy palace in Lanka. Here she is held captive until a group of avengers, or monkey gods, and other gods, the biggest one being Hanuman, who was a monkey, begins devising a plan to free Sita. It is rumored that Ram's final arrow, killing Ravan after a battle of good versus evil, lit him up with fire. Because of this, each year, around the end of October or beginning of November, Hindu temples around the world hold a ceremony called a Dashera Mela, where the statues of Ravan and his 2 brothers are exploded with fireworks and set to flame. This represents the destroying of evil at the hands of good. Me and our head editor, Parshwa Shah, had the privilege to go see one of these ceremonies here at the Hindu Cultural Center in Stratford, Connecticut. Here are some of the crazy clips from the fireworks and burning.
You can find more content from Arav on The Geopolitical, which is a podcast on all podcast platforms, or you could go to his website, thegeopolitical.net, where you could also access his Substack newsletter. Also, Arav and I had the wonderful privilege of speaking to our first Selectwoman, Miss Brenda Kupchick, and we asked her about her impact on Fairfield Public Schools and all that she does in her wonderful role. Here were the best parts.
We're so excited to have you on here, and so then the school can learn more about you and your job. So to start, Miss Kupchick, I know you grew up here in Fairfield. What schools did you go to when you were growing up?
Well, I went first to McKinley, then I went to Osborne Hill, and I finished up at North Stratfield, then I went on to Fairfield Woods,
Yay!
and then Andrew Ward.
So cool. How do you think Woods has changed from when you were at Woods to now?
I don't think the building has changed. It's very, very similar to when I went there because I've been in.
Woods is adding the 6th grade.
Adding the 6th. Do you, as a First Selectwoman, have any effect on those changes, like the adding of the 6th grade or the First Selectwoman's role at whoever's the First Selectwoman at the time? Is there any what kind of role do you have in the district and the school?
So that's an awesome question. Go over the town, 18 departments in the town, and I have the budget that controls the town. And they have the only authority to set policy, to approve curriculum, to approve textbooks, and to pass the budget. Once they do pass the budget, they send it over to me, and then I review it, and then I make adjustments to it.
You know, we've been learning in this interview about how busy you always are. So I just want to know, like, what was really your background before you got to Fairfield as the first select woman?
I had no inclination to be involved in politics at all. And so I went to school to be a psychologist. That mom came to me and said that there was an issue with the McKinley School kids who were having trouble with the Board of Education. And so I went to a meeting and I saw the way that the Board of Education, some of the members treated the parents, and they were very disrespectful to them. And so I went home that night and I said to my husband, I think something has to change. This isn't right. And he said, well, what are you going to do about it? So I wrote a letter to the editor and I said, if you don't like the way your government works, if you feel your elected officials aren't listening to you, come to this meeting at Fairfield Woods Library at this time. And over 150 people showed up in the basement of Fairfield Woods. And we started a group. I started a group called One Voice for Education. And it had people from all across the town. And we all worked together. We went to meetings, we wrote letters to the editor. So after going to the meetings for about a year, I said to the group, no one's listening to us. So how about some of us run for office? And there was about 15 of us who ran. I was one. I ran for the RTM, and all 15 won.
Wow.
And in 2 years, we passed over $268 million in school construction. But I felt so empowered. And so I ran for the Board of Ed because I cared about education issues, and I got a lot of good things done there. Parents. And then I thought I was done. I was like, I'm done. I served 6 years. And then someone said, you should run for state representative. So I got talked into it, and I ran, and I won. And when I saw our town was in trouble, I kind of felt like I had to run because this is where I grew up, and I really love this town a lot.
What a story that is. And I've interviewed other people so far in my broadcasting career, and they've talked about how kind of the job that they now have, it wasn't planned. It just kind of came along as it went, and your story seems very similar to that. But now let's transition back, because now you are the first select woman, and you have such an important role. And we've really been talking about, I feel like, the schooling for most of this. But what area overall in this town do you feel you've made the largest impact on?
Well, a lot. There were so many things that happened before I got here that needed to be fixed. And so I would say the first and foremost was COVID hit 4 months into my first term. So we had to learn how to reorganize government. I had to sign a declaration of emergency for the town, which gave me more power than I normally have. I had to constitute an emergency team, and we had to make decisions every single day. And now some of our towns shut their doors and just closed down their buildings. We did not. We shut down town hall for 48 hours, and we figured out how to run town government in 48 hours. And it was a lot of work. I have to say, it was probably one of the biggest challenges I ever faced, because I felt incredibly responsible for the lives of everybody in this town. And I knew that every decision I made could have a real consequence. So, because the bottom line was, I had to make those decisions.
Right.
Yeah.
A few of these things.
Ms. Kupchick, is there anything you want to say before we wrap up to Woods?
Well, I want to say that my alma mater, Fairfield Woods, taught me a lot, and I helped shape who I am, and I'm very impressed by the three of you. I think all three of you are going to have quite bright futures, and I'm excited to
Thank you so much.
To see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
thanks so much to Parshwa for filming it, and thanks so much to Miss Kupchick for allowing us to interview her. We really do appreciate it. On the other hand, Wicked celebrated its 20-year anniversary Monday, solidifying its place as one of the greatest Broadway shows of all time. Earlier this year, Wicked, the show, which is a prequel and partial sequel of the all-time classic Wizard of Oz, passed the 1980s and 90s show Cats as the fourth longest-running show on Broadway, third actively only behind Chicago and Lion King. It is very impressive how much success the show has received, and the fact that the show starred the dynamic duo of Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth to begin its tenure. What a show. Woods, many have been recently discussing the 2023 Israel-Hamas war, and we feel it's time to do so as well.
This conflict has been developing since the nation of Israel was founded in 1948. And many nations around the world face this kind of disputes. We will cover more information on this conflict in the coming weeks.
Me, Arav, and the whole WWMS crew are extremely sorry for all the lives that have been lost on both sides of the conflict. Lastly, before we wrap up the show, there is going to be a movie musical about the Titanic named, well, so obvious, Titanic the Musical. Most know that the Titanic, or the unsinkable ship, sank in a huge tragedy in April of 1912, and the movie about it, Titanic, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, is one of the most famous movies of all time. The new musical movie is very similar to the Hamilton movie, showing the Broadway musical Titanic the Musical, which was a Tony Award-winning Broadway show in 1997, and also toured in other places in 1998 and 2018. The movie comes out in theaters on Saturday. That will do it here on a great episode of WWMS, the second of the week after our Halloween special on Tuesday. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope you enjoyed and learned a thing or two. Unfortunately, though, this is our last show until the 17th of November, as we don't have school on either Tuesday or Friday next week. Shout out to YouTube channels Mr. TC, Mr. Latte, Chaser Sports News, and Sports for Kids. Thanks so much to an incredible behind-the-scenes crew, alongside Arav Kapoor, signing off here from Fairfield Woods Middle School. I am Chase Coburn, and we'll see you on the 17th. Welcome to the number 24, or November 3rd edition of... I can't. I just see Alexander's face, and I just can't... Welcome to the November... I said November 24. We have so many bloopers on... Good.
Okay, wait, hold on. I'll reset it and then we'll cut it out. Okay.
Are you recording?
Oh my god. When I drop it, you just start talking.
Okay. Welcome to the number. This is our second show of the week, as we needed to add in a restart. My bad, guys. This is
Dude, what the heck?
Pause. I can't see the words. Lastly, before we wrap up the show, we want to mention that there's going to be a musical about the Titanic named Titanic the Musical, a movie about the... No, I gotta say there's going to be a movie about the musical, about the Titanic musical. And then, okay. You know what? We're just gonna end the recording. I butchered that up. Welcome to the number 24, or November 3rd edition of WWMS, our weekly Friday flex show, except, no, oh my god, I'm so used to saying except on a Tuesday. What is wrong with me? I can't speak.